Pendogman has a best lap time of 1:32.181. There goes Smells Like We on their first dance with Dragon Trail Gardens. Every bend, every straight is a chance to learn, to adapt.
Yep, and it's about syncing with the car too, making sure everything's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument before a big concert.
These practices, mate, they're like a kangaroo finding its best hop. Once you've got it, you're unstoppable.
Couldn't have put it better. Finding the perfect launch is all about repetition and adjustments.
You know, mate, watching these practice sessions, you'd think the driver just jumps in and goes. But there's a heck of a lot more to it. Starting with that aero package, the balance between drag and downforce.
Oh, for sure. You tweak the front wing just a smidge, and you could have a totally different beast on your hands. Depending on the track, they might want more downforce for those tight corners or reduce it for the long straights to maximize speed.
Megasaurus 55 is on their first practice flying lap. Watch as Smells Like We takes it nice and easy on this outlap. It's not just about warming up the tires, it's about getting into that mental pit lane, tuning into the race mindset.
For sure, Rob, they're calibrating everything, the brakes, the steering, the throttle response. It's a crucial part of laying down the groundwork for a successful practice session.
With just 233 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Megasaurus 55 posted 1:31.982 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Puppy Dog from Hell posted a 10:28.362 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There smells like weed, easing out onto Dragon Trail Gardens. It's like the first step on a long hike, finding your footing before you hit full stride.
Right, and every racer knows this out lap is precious. It's their first handshake with the track today, feeling out its mood and temperament.
And off goes Roll Postman, easing into the rhythm of Dragon Trail Gardens. This lap is like the first sip of your morning coffee, waking up the senses, priming the engines.
Yeah, it's about syncing up with the machine, getting that perfect harmony between driver and car. It's like a prelude to a symphony that's about to unfold on the track.
Oi, these practices aren't just a walkabout in the park. It's here that races are often won or lost.
Absolutely. Back home in North Carolina, we emphasize the setup. A few tweaks during practice can lead to major gains on race day.
There are just over 230 minutes left in this practice session. Scott Cutshall crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 1:31.810. They're getting to grips with Dragon Trail Gardens, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
There's no mucking around for Roll Postmaster Euro, straight down to business on this first flyer. They'll be keen to see what times they can clock in early on.
Yeah, and it's not just about speed. It's about rhythm, finding that flow around Dragon Trail Gardens. Getting into that groove early can set the pace for the whole session.
Alright, Sunoiler has put down a 1:31.451. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Dallara F312.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
There's Nathan Vexler, gently nudging the beast as they head out. The out lap is where you whisper to the car, "Let's dance," before the real party starts.
You got that right. It's a gentle waltz before the full-on rock concert of the race. They're testing the waters, getting a feel for every bend and straight of Dragon Trail Gardens.
Pendogman has a best lap time of 1:31.693. Martin Wexler is on the outlap, not just warming up the tires, but also warming up their instincts, getting that racer's intuition dialed in.
True that. They're getting the feel of the track, the car, the conditions. It's all about setting the stage for what's to come.
It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions, like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right. In Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
In these sessions, they're not just pushing the car's limits, but their own too. Testing their mettle, seeing how far they can go before the big dance.
Exactly. It's a mental game as much as a physical one. Balancing aggression with precision, daring with data. It's an art and a science.
Look at Martin Wexler go. They're really giving it some jandal now. The first flyer is always a bit of a reconnaissance mission, a mix of caution and raw pace.
You bet, Rob. They're mapping out the track, feeling out the grip levels, and getting a sense of how the car's performing today. It's a crucial lap for building confidence.
Look at Smells Like We taking it nice and easy, a smart move. Like a chess player contemplating the opening move, they're planning several steps ahead.
Spot on. They're mentally mapping each corner, each straight. It's not just about the car, it's about strategy and foresight.
Get ready for some high-octane action as the drivers taking the challenge of qualifying at Dragon Trail Gardens. Smells Like We is on their outlap. What a fantastic showing from Mr. Bang in qualifying. They currently hold the top spot and are in prime position for a strong starting position. Their lap times have been exceptional, and they have showcased their talent and determination. A mesmerizing display from Roll Postma in this qualifying session. They have left everyone in awe with their speed and precision. Currently leading the pack, they are setting the standard and sending a clear message to their competitors. Smells Like We has positioned themselves well in fourth during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
You're spot on, Rob. Smells Like We's current position of fourth is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
Smells Like We has completed their outlap. A solid performance from Roll Postman as they currently hold position 2. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
Absolutely, Rob. Roel Postma has put in a remarkable effort to secure second. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
Roll Postma has completed their outlap. Smells Like We has secured a respectable third in the qualifying session. Smells Like We has completed their outlap. A strong showing from Pendogman as they currently sit in 5th. With the session drawing to a close, Pendogman has completed their outlap. It's a dominant performance from Roll Postma in this qualification session. They have shown exceptional form and are leading the way. Their confidence is shining through, and they are proving why they are considered one of the best in the business. Roll Postma has just completed the lap in 1:30.400. Their best lap so far is 1:30.400. Putting them in P1, will they be able to hold on to that spot? There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Pendogman has completed their outlap. Impressive display by Scott Cutchell, currently sitting in position 5. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Scott Cutchell's current position of 5th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on this starting position.
Sunweiler has put in a great effort and currently holds 2nd. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? Currently in 5th, Scott Cutchell has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a hybrid position.
Spot-on analysis, Rob. Scott Cutchell has positioned themselves well in 5th. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
Scott Cutchell's really showing what they're made of, landing in 4th during this nail-biting session.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about precision and nerve in qualifying. Every millisecond can make a difference on the grid. Let's see if they can squeeze out even more speed.
What a performance from Nathan Vexler. They currently occupy. Nathan Vexler has completed their first flying lap in 1:30.804. It's an impressive showing by Scott Cutchell, currently in 5th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? Scott Cutchell will be happy having put themselves into 3rd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
And there goes Pendogman, currently in position 7. It's a stellar performance from Pendogman, clinching 5th.
They're in a great spot, Rob, but in qualifying, complacency can be your worst enemy. They need to keep pushing the limits while staying cool under pressure. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Mr. Bang has positioned themselves well in ninth during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Impressive work from Smells Like We, who has claimed 6th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. A strong showing from Mr. Bang as they currently sit in 8th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Mr. Bang's current position of 8th is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Mr. Bang has just completed a lap in 1:34.757. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. Impressive display by Smells Like We, currently sitting in position 6. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. Mr. Bang has put in a great effort and currently holds 8th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting? Mr. Bang has just completed that lap in 1:34.757. Their best lap so far is 1:34.757, putting them in P8. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? Incredible drive by Smells Like We so far, earning them 6th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
I completely agree, Rob. Smells Like We has positioned themselves impressively in 6th. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
Smells Like We's last lap at 1:38.612 has them languishing in 6th. Time slipping away, and they need to find some magic on the track.
Absolutely, Rob. It's crunch time, and they've got to push the Dallara F312 beyond its limits if they want to claw back into the top 5.
It's about time Smells Like We considered a different approach. With a 1:38.612, they're stuck in 6th. Maybe a change in brake bias could give them more control in those hard braking zones.
That's a solid point, Rob. Better braking control means they can brake later and harder, making up precious time in the corners.
You've joined us on a breezy day here at Dragon Trail Gardens as we're getting ready to kick things off. Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Roll Postma to take control of the race.
But they can't let that advantage go to waste. They will need to stay focused and keep their eyes on the prize.
And in second place, we have Sunoiler. Nathan Vexler has qualified third. Taking the fourth spot is Scott Cutchell.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
Starting just behind the front runners in fifth place is the determined driver, Smells Like We.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Smells Like We can do from here.
The sixth starting position belongs to Pendogman, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
It's the medium's tire compounds for Pendogman.
From the middle of the pack, we have Mr. Bang in seventh place on the starting grid. As the engines roar to life, Megasaurus 55 prepares to take off from the 8th position on the starting grid.
An opportunity for some good points today, but the others aren't going to make it easy.
Puppy Dog from Hell is lining up 9th. As the race begins, drivers must be wary of aggressive moves that can lead to trouble on the first lap.
Staying out of trouble in these early moments is crucial. It's a fine line between pushing hard and staying safe.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team and Assetto Corsa friends for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. Brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
The first lap can always be a bit of a bun fight as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race.
The race isn't won in the first turn, but there have been plenty that have ended there wrong.
Holding strong in second place is Sunoiler. pole post has turned up the heat and put some shrimp between them and Sunoiler, making a fair dinkum gap. It's a nail-biting showdown between these three drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner. I think Mr. Bang is going to try and outbrake Dallara F312 as they come into Bad Assetto Corsa. This could gain in the place, but it may all end badly.
The way Mr. Bang's chasing, you'd think Scott Cutchell took the last piece of Grandma's apple pie. Which, for the record, I did once. Still got the scar.
Seems like Mr. Bang is getting in range of smells like wee.
There is no room for error in this battle.
Stone the Crows. Mr. Bangs pulled a sneaky, landing at 7th. Always a surprise with them.
Such position changes can be deceptive. It might look like a setback for Mr. Bang, but seasoned viewers know better. The race is far from over.
Things are getting spicy as Nathan Vexler is breathing down Sunoiler's neck. The gap, mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them.
It's a battle for position as Nathan Vexler tries to make a move on Sunoiler. This is what racing is all about.
The gap between Nathan Vexler and Sunoiler is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 0.8 seconds. The battle for 3 is heating up as Smells Like Weed tries to catch Nathan Vexler in P3. Blimey, Scott Cutchell is closing in on Megasaurus 55 like they owe them money. This duel is going to light up Zlatan Otop Kutu Golden Island corner.
It's a battle of nerves now. Who will make the first mistake? Scott Cutchell or Megasaurus 55? This is high-stakes racing.
Aussies love a good underdog story. Any dark horses you're keeping an eye on for this race?
Well, every rodeo has its wild card. I've got a couple names in mind, but I'll keep them close to the best for now.
Hope Scott Cutchell hasn't got stage fright, because Pendogman's booked a front row seat to the show.
Hate to say it, but Scott Cutchell might just find themselves getting lapped. Kinda like that time I tried line dancing and ended up tripping over my own boots.
Pendogman is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they want to avoid.
Remember when we thought Smells Like We had peaked? Think again, they're harnessing every bit of downforce and it's making Nathan Vexler's mirrors awfully busy. The gap between Pendogman and Scott Cutchell is razor thin as they vie for 6th in this nail-biting contest. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Pendogman gaining places and Scott Cutchell losing them.
Absolutely, Rob, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Pendogman can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
The intensity is off the charts as Smells Like We hounds Nathan Vexler, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Oi, Smells Like Weed's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Nathan Vexler's got a battle ahead.
This is what racing is all about. It's anyone's game at this point. Who will come out on top?
If I had $1 for every time Megasaurus 55 closed a gap like this, I'd have enough for a pint at the local. Get ready, Smells Like We, the thunder from down under is coming.
You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
Alright, lads and ladies, it's crunch time. Smells like Wee is sniffing around Martin Vexler like a dog with a bone. And it looks like they might just take a bite out of third.
If Smells Like Wee gets any closer to Nathan Vexler, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
It's an intense battle for position as Megasaurus 55 tries to outmaneuver Smells Like Wee. This is edge of your seat racing.
You can feel the intensity in the air. The slightest mistake could cost either of them the race.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle pal, but Megasaurus 55's plans have gone walkabout right now. They're having a proper Barry Crocker keeping up with Smells Like Wee. Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
They are going to need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete when the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
It's a game of inches now as Megasaurus 55 tail braking development. Whoa, Scott Cutchell took that corner like my Uncle Baz after a six-pack all over the shop.
That maneuver from Scott Cutchell? Just like my attempt at DIY car mods. Ambitious, but not quite right.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
The chase between Smells Like Wee and Megasaurus 55 is like a high-speed game of tag only. The stakes are much higher.
It seems like Smells Like Wee is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Smells Like Wee refocus and start putting in the...
Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Smells like Wee's duffed it up. They're gonna need more than a coldie to forget that one.
Dang. Smells Like Wee decided to cut loose like it's spring break, 89. Wrong party, pal.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
The stopwatch doesn't lie, and the shrinking gap is telling a tale of 100 closing in on its prize.
I tell you what, Scott Cutchell has got more problems than a maths book right now. Mr. Bang is leaving them in a cloud of dust. Oi, Smells Like Wee is on Megasaurus 55 like a drop bear on an unsuspecting tourist.
Drop bear? Had to Google that one. But yeah, here it's like a linebacker on a quarterback sack. Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Smells Like Wee should use slipstreaming to their advantage and close the gap to Megasaurus 55.
Oh, talk about a tango on tarmac. Scott Cutchell is dancing closer and closer to Mr. Bang. You can feel the tension as they approach start-finish line.
It's a thrilling battle for position as these two drivers give it their all. Who will come out on top? This is racing at its finest.
Did you ever think about the physics at play here? The G-forces these drivers feel, especially during tight corners. It's mind-boggling.
Absolutely, Rob. And it's not just the car's engineering, but the human body's resilience and adaptability. The way these drivers train to withstand and use those forces to their advantage. It's an art form combined with sheer grit.
You can feel the rumble from here. Sunwell is in the thick of it, and they're not letting go. It's a battle of wills, and only the strongest will come out on top.
Yeah, it's like the final lap of the Daytona 500. Pedal to the metal, eyes on the prize, and no room for error. This is what racing's all about.
The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? Reminds me of two wombats fighting for the best burrow. Close, intense, and unpredictable.
Oh, this is gripping. With every lap, Sunoiler's drawing closer to that lead spot. They're both battling tire to tire.
If I were the leader, I'd be checking my mirrors every blink of an eye. Talk about intense. Scott Cutchell is on Mr. Bang's bumper. We're in for a treat as they approach start-finish line.
Scott Cutchell is so close to Mr. Bang that if this were a dance floor, they'd be doing the tango.
Sunoiler is locked in, mate. It's like watching a kangaroo chasing down that last bit of green in the outback. Every move is calculated, every turn precise.
You said it, Rob. Over here, it'd be like a quarterback eyeing that end zone in the final seconds. Sunoiler is hungry for that top spot, and you can feel it.
Look at that, Megasaurus 55 is hot on the tail of Smells Like Weed.
Well, butter my biscuit. Megasaurus 55's hot on Smells Like Weed's tail, and not in the way you're thinking. There's some serious wooing going on at Dragon Trail Gardens today.
The gap between Megasaurus 55 and Smells Like Weed is growing. It's now up to 0.7 seconds. And Megasaurus 55 has just won the place from Smells Like Weed. Who needs speed dating when you've got Sunoiler chasing down Roll Postma this eagerly? Move over Tinder, this is how you swipe right at 100 miles per hour.
With just 0.5 seconds between them, will Sunoiler be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Sunoiler and Roll Postma.
With every lap, I can see Sunoiler making micro adjustments on that steering wheel, refining traction control. They're itching to show Roll Postma their taillights.
This isn't just racing, it's a duel. Watch as Scott Cutchell zeroes in on Mr. Bang, blade sharpened and ready. It's not going to plan for Scott Cutchell. They are still behind Mr. Bang and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. Oh, the chase is on. Sunoiler's breathing down the neck of Roll Postma.
It's a dance of titans, a symphony of engines, and Sunoiler's tempo is rising.
Oh mate, Scott Cutchell's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the Barbie. Crikey, Scott Cutchell is losing touch with Mr. Bang quicker than a kangaroo on a trampoline. You reckon these drivers do any off-track training? Maybe a bit of kangaroo boxing?
Haha, if they do, sign me up. But I think most stick to wrestling with the steering wheel.
Look at Sunoiler trying to close that gap on Roll Postma. Kind of like me trying to get close to a decent Barbie back home.
Barbie? Oh, you mean a barbecue. Yeah, but over here it's like trying to catch the last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party. They say pressure makes diamonds. Well, Sunoiler's shining bright, closing in with every heartbeat.
Sunoiler's giving it a red-hot go, but can't seem to muster the pace to keep up with Roll Postma. It's like chasing a roo on a motorbike. Ever wonder about the unsung heroes of racing? The pit crew. I reckon their job's as hectic as a barman's on a Friday night in Sydney.
No doubt about it. It's like a pitmaster at a barbecue joint during a lunch rush. Everyone wants a piece, and they've got mere seconds to dish it out and make it perfect.
Smells Like Weed is running sixth. They are trying to catch Megasaurus 55.
The gap between them is just over 0.9 seconds. Who will have the speed and skill to come out on top?
Look Looks like Smells Like we remembered to twist that anti-roll bar, giving them better cornering. If they get any closer to Megasaurus 55, they'll be seeing what they had for breakfast. So, Hal, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Rob. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Who will keep their cool under pressure? Puppy Dog from Hell or Mr. Bang? It's anyone's race.
Hold on to your hats. Smells Like We is gunning for Megasaurus 55. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend? Smells Like We just blitzed past Megasaurus 55 like they were standing still.
If this were chess, I'd say Smells Like We just put Megasaurus 55 in check. Brilliant move.
A setback for Smells Like We, who has just been passed.
Yes, but they can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Smells Like We needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
By the looks of it, Puppy Dog from Hell in 8th is keen to throw another shrimp on the Barbie and crank up the heat on Mr. Bang. Hold on to your stubbies. It's game on now. Puppy Dog from Hell has closed the gap to Mr. Bang. It's now down to 0.6 seconds. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
Ha ha, I bet they were. But things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely. It's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
Like a scene from a thriller, roll Postmas on Sunoiler's tail, hungry for that spot. Ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a high-speed pursuit. Scott Cutchell is stalking Mr. Bang's every move.
The rubber's burning, the crowd's yearning, and Scott Cutchell's engine is churning to get past Mr. Bang.
It's looking good for Scott Cutchell, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Mr. Bang.
Yes, but Scott Cutchell can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
The adrenaline is pumping as Mr. Bang gets within striking distance of Scott Cutchell in their race for 8th. Talk about being caught in the middle. Mr. Bang is sandwiched between their rivals, 0.1 seconds behind and Scott Cutchell 0.2 seconds ahead. The battle for position is on. The race has its rhythm, and right now, Megasaurus 55 is dancing to its beat at 5th. Impressive driving from Megasaurus 55, who has managed to extend their lead over Smells Like We. They are walking away at this point. Does Smells Like We have anything in reserve? Or are they saving their car for a final push?
Well, Rob, it's like they say, slow and steady wins the race. But in this case, it seems like slow and steady might just be too slow. Will Smells Like We be able to find that extra gear and catch up to Megasaurus 55? Or will they end up saving their car for nothing and run out of gas at the finish line? It's really looking like Megasaurus 55 is going to be tough to pass today. They're driving with real confidence and authority.
The gap might be more than a second, but Mr. Bang is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep it and something's got to give.
Well, butter my biscuit. Mr. Bang's hanging back like they're waiting for an inheritance. but ain't nobody dying up front.
Mr. Bang is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.43 seconds down.
Can Mr. Bang refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
Scott Cutchell's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind. Mate, Scott Cutchell's creeping up on Puppy Dog from hell like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked their brake bias a touch to the rear. Whoa, Scott Cutchell's on fire, leaving skid marks and Puppy Dog from hell's hopes behind.
Absolutely. Scott Cutchell is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
On the final lap now, and Sunoiler looks like they might just wrap up this win.
That's an impressive burst of speed. It's all but said and done now.
The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Sunoiler, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books.
And that's why Sunoiler is one of the best in the business. A dominant display of driving from start to finish, leaving the rest of the pack in the dust.
What a drive from Roll Postma, securing a great second place finish. Excellent focus from Nathan Vexler to secure a fantastic third place on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
Finishing 4th, 5th, and 6th is Pendogman, Megasaurus 55, and Smells Like We. Scott Cutchell in 7th. Mr. Bang End in 8th. Puppy Dog from Hell claim 9th. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Dragon Trail Gardens, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Mr. Bang will have the best seat in the house starting from pole position. Puppy Dog from Hell is placed in second. Smells Like We will begin the race from the third spot on the starting grid. As the drivers prepare to take off, Scott Cutshall sits in fourth place on the starting grid. The fifth position belongs to Pendogman.
The Italian driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Lining up in sixth is Megasaurus 55. On the seventh grid slot we have Roll Postmark. Arten Vexler will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from 8th on the grid.
Expect some battling with Roel Postma.
Sunoiler is 9th.
It's the medium's tires for Sunoiler.
The race has begun, full throttle ahead. This first lap is crucial, as drivers need to establish their position early on.
This is where the true test of a driver's skill comes into play. It's all about finding the right line and carrying as much speed as possible through the turn.
The drivers will need to be precise and calculated if they want to make it through this section unscathed.
And with so many cars jostling for position, it's a real test of nerve as well. One wrong move and you could be out of the race before it even really gets started.
That's right, the pressure is really on these drivers to perform. Starting from pole position is a dream come true for Mr. Bang.
But they can't let their guard down. The other drivers will be gunning for them.
Mr. Bang is off like a bride's nightie, leaving Puppy Dog from Hell huffing their exhaust fumes.
Yep, Rob. Mr. Bang is tearing up the tarmac, but can Puppy Dog from Hell dig deep and go hell for leather to catch up?
They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. Who will have the courage to outbrake the others? Talk about pressure. Pendogman is caught in the middle, feeling the heat from both Roll Postma and Scott Cutshall.
You're right on the money, Rob. Pendogman is caught between two determined rivals, and the gaps to the cars ahead and behind add an extra layer of complexity. It's a delicate balance between defense and seeking opportunities.
I could eat, I'd kill for some of the trackside snacks right about now.
Oh, absolutely. But you know, my digestion is a real mess.
Is that what the smell is? Hold on to your hats, folks. Puppy Dog from Hell is right on the heels of Summer, and we're in for a wild ride.
Did we just witness a gambit?
It seems Puppy Dog from Hell is recalibrating, now at 7th. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Nathan Vexler is proper nipping at Scott Cutchell's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell. It's a close race between Pendogman and Nathan Vexler in third.
Sweet tea and biscuits. Pendogman's closing in on Nathan Vexler. I reckon we'll see some fireworks at Inutra Biokovo 2 inside Biokovo 2.
Oh, this is getting intense. Mr. Bang is just behind Smells Like We. If consistency was an art, Mr. Bang would be Picasso today. Just churning out those laps, one after the other. As they speed through Zlatan Otok Kutu Golden Island corner, Nathan Vexler is relentlessly pursuing Sunwiller in a high-stakes battle for position. Hang on, has Nathan Vexler just played their wild card? They're lounging at 6th now. It's a thrilling pursuit as Sunwiller is right behind Pendogman, keeping the pressure on for 3rd place.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Sunoiler gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Megasaurus 55 wants to find a way round Nathan Vexler.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
The gap between Megasaurus 55 and Nathan Vexler is widening. It's now up to 0.3 seconds. Gee whiz, Pendogman is breathing down Scott Cutchell's neck. Wouldn't want to be in Scott Cutchell's rearview mirror right now. It's getting crowded.
Now, that's some driving, y'all. Pendogman is putting the pressure on Scott Cutchell. It's like watching a cat stalk a bird. They're inching closer with every turn.
Tough break for Pendogman, who has just lost a position. Disappointing for Pendogman, they now find themselves in 8th. I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind. Even I'm not that self-sabotaging.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than Mr. Bang right now. Come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
Alright, hold your horses. Megasaurus 55 is really putting the heat on Nathan Vexler. If I were Nathan Vexler, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. It's not coming up roses for Megasaurus 55. They're trailing Nathan Vexler and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Looks like Scott Cutchell is trying to chase down Megasaurus 55, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. This is what it's all about, folks. Pendogman is in hot pursuit of Mr. Bang, who's just trying to stay ahead.
Well, bless my heart. Pendogman is shadowing Mr. Bang so closely, it's like they're hitched together. Keep an eye on them as they whip through Inutra Biokovo 2 inside Biokovo 2.
Nathan Vexler could be looking for a way up the inside of Megasaurus 55.
Do they have the speed for a move, and more importantly, do they have the talent?
Nathan Vexler doesn't pick up the pace, pal, they'll be as relevant as an ashtray on a motorbike. Mate, I've heard the drivers talking about their car setups. It sounds more complicated than assembling an IKEA bookshelf.
You're not wrong. Back home, we just say it's like trying to line dance.
Breaking alert, crikey, Pendogman thought they were on a boomerang's flight path. Only problem, didn't come back. The pursuit is on. Martin Vexler is closing the gap on Megasaurus 55, determined to claim P3. Crikey, that overtake by Martin Vexler was smoother than a coldie on a hot summer day.
Well, from what I've seen on the oval tracks, that's how the big leagues play. But I gotta admit, this is next level.
Stone the Crows. Pendogman's in ninth, but if I know them, smells like we's gonna copy Aussie-style sneak attack real soon. The gap between Pendogman and Smells Like We is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 1.1 seconds. It's a battle of wills out there, with Martin Vexler trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Megasaurus 55. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? You reckon Scott Cutchell saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Absolutely. Scott Cutchell in fifth will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Hal, what's the impact of tyre degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Rob. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
Phew, talk about foreplay. Mr. Bang and Puppy Dog from Hell are really teasing us here. I haven't seen this much anticipation since my first date.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Mr. Bang is really walking that tightrope.
Mr. Bang is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Puppy Dog from Hell at the moment. Smells like Wee is on a mission, chasing Mr. Bang, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
With a gap tighter than a new pair of jeans, Smells Like Wee's pushing the Dallara F312 to its limits. He's got that racer's instinct, looking for that sweet spot to pounce on Mr. Bang.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
As a former driver, I can tell you there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush when you're this close to your rival, ready to make your move.
Oh dear, Mr. Bang has dropped down to 8th.
Now ain't that something? Mr. Bang's got a bit of a wrinkle in their plan, but they'll iron it out, mark my words.
Things are heating up as Smells Like Wee closes in on Puppy Dog from Hell. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. Well, that's an unexpected descent. Smells Like Wee finds themselves repositioned at 8th.
Well, change is the only constant. And in this dance, Smells Like Wee is certainly keeping us on our toes with that position shift.
Crikey, Puppy Dog from Hell. Breaking news, folks. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Buckle up. Smells Like Wee is all over Mr. Bang like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action? An impressive showing from Smells Like Wee, who has gained positions and left Mr. Bang in the dust.
Someone better check if Smells Like Wee's been drinking those energy drinks, as it seems like they got wings.
Wow, Mr. Bang is really pushing hard to catch up to Smells Like Wee. There's blood in the water for 6th place. Bang and smells like meat has grown. It's now up to 1.1 seconds. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
Tell ya what, Puppy Dog from Hell's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle? Racing were a dance, Pendogman would be trying to lead, but Mr. Bang just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. Good news for Pendogman, the gap to Mr. Bang has decreased. It's now down to 0.9 seconds. Looks like Puppy Dog from Hell's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now.
That's right, Puppy Dog from Hell in 9th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Pendogman is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
The action is non-stop as Pendogman shadows Mr. Bang through every twist and turn, determined to claim 7th.
The only thing closer than Pendogman to Mr. Bang right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
Struth, Megasaurus 55's lap time's slower than a room with a limit. I wonder if they've had a few too many frothies last night. Sunoiler's not waiting around to find out. The way these cars grip the track is incredible. It's all about downforce. They're stuck to it like a piece of gum to the bottom of a school desk.
Now that's an analogy I get. But why's your gum always under the desks?
Whoa there, Pendogman is sticking to Mr. Bang like glue. You reckon Mr. Bang's feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would.
This battle between Pendogman and Mr. Bang is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
A great pass for Pendogman as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Mr. Bang has lost ground.
Well, it's not just about speed, it's about strategy. But right now, Pendogman's showing a masterclass in both.
With every twist and turn, Megasaurus 55 is shadowing Sunoiler, waiting to pounce like a lion on the hunt.
It's hotter than a jalapeno out here. If Megasaurus 55 gets any closer to Sunoiler, we're gonna need to put this stream on OnlyFans. Fair dinkum, Megasaurus 55 is getting a wriggle on. The gap to Sunoiler is now down to a whisker at 0.3 seconds. Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. Megasaurus 55's using that draft from Sunoiler real effectively, shaving off tenths every lap.
The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
Every gear shift, every pedal push, Megasaurus 55's got one goal in mind, capturing Sunoiler's spot. The gap between Megasaurus 55 and Sunoiler is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun.
I've seen drivers fight G-forces, fatigue, and mental strain. But Megasaurus 55 is doing more than just enduring, they're thriving. Sunoiler better check that rearview mirror.
Big gains for Megasaurus 55 as they move up the field, leaving Sunoiler behind. The evolution of these cars over the years is nothing short of incredible. The aerodynamics, the tire technology, it's all a game of innovation.
Couldn't have said it better. And to think about the data analytics behind every decision, from tire pressures to wing adjustments. It's not just a sport, it's a symphony of engineering and strategy.
Looks like Sunoiler is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Sunoiler needs to be careful not to overdo it.
In a world where milliseconds matter, smells like Wii's grasp on the 6 speaks volumes. It seems like Smells Like Wii is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace. This is where the race gets really interesting. Sunoiler is closing in on Megasaurus 55.
It's a game of strategy now as Sunoiler hunts down Megasaurus 55. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
As the race settles down, the drivers are really going at it.
It's like watching a high-speed game of chess. One wrong move and it could be game over. But these drivers are masters of their craft, always thinking 3 steps ahead.
That's right, and with the way they're maneuvering those cars, it's like they have superpowers.
It's almost like they have the power of flight. But instead of flying, they're speeding down the track like rockets.
I wonder if they have any spare rocket boosters for sale. The engines roar, the tires squeal, and amidst all this chaos, Smells Like Wii is making a statement in 6th. Performance from Smells Like Wii, who has increased their lead over Pendogman, putting them firmly in their rear-view mirrors.
That's a really strong performance from Smells Like Wii. They're not giving Pendogman any chances to catch up.
Oof, if Sunoiler was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. Breaking update. Well, that was a proper Barbie flip by Scott Cutchell. Too much snagger, not enough bun.
I swear, Scott Cutchell's acting like they found Elvis off track. Spoiler. The king ain't there.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Sunoiler, who is currently in P3. But Megasaurus 55 is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Sunoiler.
Sweet mercy, Sunoiler's lagging like my grandma's old computer. Might be time to reboot, or at least pour some coffee into the gas tank.
Fair dinkum, Sunoiler's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter.
This ain't Sunoiler's first rodeo. They're optimizing their racing line, reducing understeer. If Megasaurus 55 ain't nervous, they sure ought to be.
At this stage of the race, Nathan Vexler is holding on to 4th. Anything can happen from here.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Nathan Vexler's grip on 4th will be tested.
Nathan Vexler is hitting the apexes like a pro, increasing their lead over Scott Cutchell. But can they keep it up without spinning out?
That's right, Rob. It's all fun and games until someone pops a tire. Let's hope both of them can keep it on the black stuff.
Wait, looks like Mr. Bang forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that. As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Sunoiler is in the lead. Can they stay calm and bring home the bacon?
You got this. Keep your cool.
The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Roll Postma cruising in first. It's all over. Roll Postma has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now. A nail-biting finish, but Megasaurus 55 claimed second place. What a race from Sunwell, showing their skill and determination for a great third-place finish.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
With Nathan Vexler in fourth, followed by Scott Cutchell in fifth. 6C smells like we. Taking seventh is Pendogman. Coming in eighth we have Mr. Bang. Finishing ninth is Puppy Dog from Hell.